Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry for being late. Are we live? We are live, no? Yes. Everybody, welcome. Welcome to economics classes here. I hope you all are studying. Everybody studying now. You don't have much time for your examination. I believe that everyone you are studying, you are doing that the activities which I give to do. So I believe that you are studying every day. Every day you have to study. I know that you are studying, but just one, uh, a warning. I'm just giving a warning that if you don't study, history will repeat. Those who are not studying, to them, history repeats if you don't study. Please, that history, it should not repeat, no? For that purpose, every day you have to study. Every day. So you should have a satisfaction. I always tell my students that your day has to start with determination and it has to end with satisfaction. Correct? Your day has to start with determination that I will study so many subjects and so many topics in this day. So once you are done with that, only after that you have to sleep. Until then, no sleep. So we don't sleep, sir, until we are done with the subject. Correct. So otherwise, many a time, what happens, no? We will regret. We'll waste the time, and at the end of the day, we will regret before we keep our head on our pillow. So we will regret. ಶ್ಯಾ, ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಓದ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. While enjoying, you will enjoy. You will enjoy that situation or that moment. You just be in that moment. And when you sleep, no, you will regret. So many a case to the students, what happens to the students, no? During the daytime, they enjoy. But many a student, I'm so sorry. During the daytime, they go to a function, they attend a function, they are not 100% there. They don't spend their 100% time there. Okay. And at the end of the day, while sleeping, no, they just think that, Array, this day is gone. And sumne waste madiddu. That means chances so bhi nahi pate hain aap. You cannot sleep well. And at the same time, you did not enjoy 100% there, 100% here. While studying, we think of playing. While playing, we think of eating, we think of entertainment. While having entertainment, we think of sleeping. While sleeping, we think of studies. While studies, we think of playing. Arre baapre. That means you are everywhere, but you are nowhere. Correct? So that's why everyone, what should be there in your mind is very simple, that wherever you are, be 100%. If you cannot give 100% there, then where is your preference? No, there you have to give 100%. So right now, the preference or priority is for studies. Correct? I believe that right now, your priority is for studies. So you have to give 100% to your studies. And any other activities that you do, I am damn sure any activities that you do, there you cannot give your 100% unless you have studied. If you have studied, already studies is done, sir. Then you can give your 100%. You are ready to give your 100%. Correct. That's why everyone make sure that you give your 100% for your studies and always. So uh okay. Yes. Being said that, everyone here, now we will start our class. Before that, 8 minutes, give me 1 minute. There is some issue in my laptop. It's very difficult. I am just scrolling here. I'm just changing the page, but it is not getting changed. Just 1 minute. Yes, now it is possible. Okay, so here we were discussing about the public finance, correct? Yes, yes, sir. We were discussing public finance, and in that we were discussing about the public finance may basically in public finance, especially in public finance, we were discussing about what are the goals of the public finance. So what are the goals here? Basically, three important goals. One is resource allocation. Second one is resource allocation, nothing but GDP, growth of GDP. Second one, employment. Third one, stability. These are the three important factors which we discussed. The goals. Now we are going to discuss about the goals and the role of the government in an economic system. And we know that, see, in the first chapter, we discussed that there are three kinds of economic system. One is socialist economy, capitalist economy, mixed economy. There are three kinds of economic system: capitalist economy, socialist economy, mixed economy. In case of capitalist economy, there is no government interference. Mixed economy, socialist economy, government interference is there. In case of capitalist economy, like US, Mexico, Canada, all these are capitalist economies, but still government interference is required for some reasons. There are reasons for which government interference is required. So that we know in capitalist economy, government interference is very less. But still, there are some cases where government interference is required. So the role of uh, government in economic system that is what we are studying now. Why an economic system should be in place? First one, why economic system? For production and distribution system should be in place. The basic economic problem of scarcity arises from the fact that wants are unlimited and resources available to any society are limited. Correct? We know this. Wants, we have unlimited wants, and resources that we have to satisfy our, that also we know. Yes. Consequently, an economy cannot produce all the economic goods and services that its members desire to have. So, because resources are scarce, no? Therefore, an economic system by which a society, which is household, business, and government, make decisions about the allocating resources to produce the products and about distributing those products should exist to answer the basic questions such as what, how, economic system. To answer all the questions, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom produce. To answer these questions, we should have one economic saying that these kind of economic system should be there. That is the importance of economic system here. Okay. How much resources should be set to ensure of the productivity? Adam Smith is described as the bold advocate of free markets and minimal government activity. Adam Smith was the one who was advocating the free market. He was the one who was telling that there should be free market. Government interference should be the least possible. Government interference should be the least possible. Smith believed that, but well defined. The role of the government should be limited, but it should be well defined. However, saw an important resource allocation role for the government when he underlined the listen. Smith told that the role of the government should be there. Government should not interfere in everything. Each and every activity which I do, no, I don't want government to put their hands in that. I don't want government to be there. Okay. Minimal, but that minimal activity should be well defined. So it should be well defined, and it should not be like that. It is putting their activity. It is doing some activity which is actually not required. No, it should not be like that. It should be well defined. So the role of government in where Adam Smith says that where should be the role of where government should be more active, that is given here. Okay. Which says that first one is national defense. Government role should be more in national defense to protect the nation external violence. Nation protect our the external violence such as Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, or any kind of security के लिए, if there is any danger, then the government has to involve a lot. Establishing a system of justice to provide international law and order to protect the property. So, to example, if someone has entered my house or my office and he is me or he is not uh, letting me do peacefully, you might ask the question, sir, where I have to go? Where I have to go now? I'll go to police station. No, I'll go to police station. I'll go to police station. That I'll seek their help now. So who has started this law and order? Who gave this law and order? This law and order is given by government. Government will establish this law and order. है ना? Government will establish law and order. Establishment and maintenance of highly beneficial public institutions and public works such as roads, bridges, canals, harbors, and postal system that profit-seeking individuals may not be able to do that activity. Sir, why we are not able to do that activity? Very simple. In that there is no profit. Correct. We will not get any profit here. है ना? एक minute. Yeah. We will not get any profit here. That's why we are not interested in doing the bridge, canals, dams. Huge investment is required. Huge investment is required, but it is not possible to maintain that. And we are not monetize that. Only government can do this. Government has the capacity, but not the capacity. So these are the activities which are establishing a system of justice and establishment and maintenance of highly or highly public related properties where this profit seeking entities, they will not be having much interest. So these profit seeking entities, no, they will not be having much interest. So there are differences among different countries in respect of the nature and extent of the government intervention in the economies. There are many kinds of economies here, and their intervention in all these economies differ. All of them agree on one point, that the governments are expected to play a major role in the economy. This comes out of the belief that government intervention will always influence the performance of the economy in a positive way. Correct. That if there is government, there is some kind of security. There is law and order. There is some kind of security. So the government, we usually believe that government will do something which is good for the society. Richard Musgrave, in his classic treatise, The Theory of Public Finance, 1959, introduced three branches taxonomy. Taxonomy is nothing but classification. Three branch of classification he introduced in the role of government in a market economy. He introduced three kinds of taxonomies. And what are the roles of the government? What exactly the role of government that is being discussed by this Richard Musgrave. So this guy, he's a legend. He gave some important points. He gave some important points about the role of the government. First one, that is resource allocation. He said that first and foremost important one is resource allocation to ensure efficiency. If you are allocating the resources, if there is allocation of resources, that resource allocation, it has to increase the efficiency. Income redistribution, that is to guarantee fairness. To guarantee fairness here, that means everyone should get the equal opportunity. In case of earning the income, generating the income, everyone should get the equal opportunity. And macroeconomic stabilization to ensure price stability. So that means government has the ultimate power to ensure the price stability. They might increase the inflation. They have the power to increase the inflation, or they have the power to stabilize the inflation, or they might decrease the deflation, or they might increase inflation also. They have that power. So that means they will stabilize the price in the market. Market may, they are going to stabilize the price. That is their one more work. So resource allocation, income redistribution, and macroeconomic stabilization. So these are their important activities and roles. Again, sir, what are the objectives? Three objectives. So what are the three objectives? One is increase in growth. The second one, employment. Third one is stabilization. Correct. Here also, there are three functions here. What are the three functions? Resource allocation, income redistribution, and macroeconomic stabilization. Yes, sir. After that, the allocation and distribution functions are primarily microeconomic functions, while stabilization is macroeconomic function. Allocation and distribution functions are primarily microeconomic functions, while stabilization is a macroeconomic function. Why it is microeconomic? It is something related to your business. Remember our business economics, definition of business economics, that says that it is allocation, uh, resource allocation, mainly related to resource allocation and distribution to various users. But macroeconomics means stabilization. Stabilization comes from many of the activities such as inflation. You have to stabilize inflation. You have to give more employment like this. Stabilization is the result of many other activities. All the sectors has to be involved. That's why it is macroeconomic function. We shall now discuss in detail the conceptual three functional framework of the responsibilities of the government. First one, the resource allocation function. The resource allocation function. Resource allocation refers to the way in which the available resources or factors of production are allocated among the various users. Correct? No. What is allocation? Distribution of resources among the various users. So resource allocation is a critical problem because you don't know to where you have to give more resources, where you have to give less resources. So the critical problem because the resources of a society are limited in supply, whereas the wants of the members of the society are unlimited. Resources are limited, but the wants of the members of the society are unlimited. In addition, any given resources can have many alternative uses. Any resources that you have, no, which has many alternative uses. In addition, any given alternative uses. That's why allocation function is very important one and very crucial. At the same time, it is decision. The decision it depends on the many decisions here. Choice making problems. It might create the problems also. One of the most important function of an economic system is optimal or efficient allocation of scarce resources so that the available resources are put to their best use and no wastage are there. So you have to make sure that what is allocation function? It is optimal or efficient allocation of scarce resources to that the available resources are put to their best use and no wastages are there. That is optimum allocation. See, best users, you have to put it for best users and there should be no wastage. There should not be any wastages. Economic efficiency indicate a situation in which all the resources are allocated to serve each person in the best way possible, minimizing the waste and efficiency. Again, the same point given in some different way. The private sector resource allocation is characterized by the market, supply and demand and price mechanism as determined by the consumer sovereignty, sovereignty and producers profit motive. Consumer should get the ultimate power. They should have the ultimate power in choosing the product, and producers have profit motive. That means it has to fetch some profit to the producers. The state's allocation, on the other hand, is accomplished through the revenue and expenditure activities of the governmental budgeting. In the real world, resource allocation is determined by both market and the government. So government also purchases some resources and they will allocate at the same time. Okay. At the same time, private people, we also purchase some resources and we will allocate. This is the combined activity of both producers and consumers. Okay. A market economy. You know what is market economy? Yes. What is that? Capitalist economy. Market economy is nothing but capitalist economy is subject to the serious malfunctioning that will not function accurately. There is some serious malfunctioning. What is that malfunctioning? While private goods will be sufficiently provided by the market, public goods and merit goods will not be produced in the sufficient quantities by the market. See, if the decision is left to the markets, that means people like me and you, do we see if I give you 1 crore rupees, what do you do? If I give you 1 crore rupees or by lottery, if you get 1 crore rupees by lottery, what do you do? Will you build a road? Hucha, sir. Will you build a public hospital? Mad or what? Why we do that? But actually we have to. But no one does it. ಯಾರು ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Why? Because we always look at our personal interest, self-interest. We look at our self-interest, and if I build a road, it is very difficult to restrict someone to or to use that road. Correct? To use that road, it is very difficult. And at the same time, the cost of living will be very high. The cost of living will be very high. Let me tell you how the cost of living will be very high, sir. Example, this is my house. Okay. I will build one road like this. I will build a road and I will put one toll gate here. Toll gate. This is the toll gate. And there is one car. I will tell the car, if you want to enter this road, no, you have to pay me 10 rupees. Okay. In front of my house, there is one road. This road is done, sir. This road, this is my neighbor's house. And he will build a road. And he says that, car, if you want to enter this road, you have to pay me 10 rupees. I'm so sorry. You have to pay 10 rupees. And like this, for 500 meters, per 500 meters, we have to pay 10 rupees. Then imagine if I want to travel for 500 kilometers. If I want to travel for 300 kilometers, per kilometer 10 rupees extra, gone. 10 kilometers के लिए 100 rupees, 360, 500 kilometers के लिए, just imagine, no, 5,000 rupees. I have to spend 5,000 rupees extra because of this toll. That's why cost of living also increases. So here, who has to do this activity then? Government. We are not interested. Public are not interested. And government. Only government has to do this activity. So this will lead to missing markets. No one will produce the road. I am not ready to construct a road, or existence of the market. There will not be existence of the market occur in the variety of situations. Why do market fail to give the right answer to the question as to how the resources can be efficiently utilized and what goods should be produced and in what quantities? In other words, why do market generate misallocation of resources? Why do markets generate misallocation of resources? Why we are misallocating resources? So that's why this is very crucial point here. Efficient allocation of available resources in an economy is assumed to take place only when the market are perfectly competitive and economic agents make rational choices and decisions. In reality, markets are never perfectly competitive. That we know already. Markets are competitive markets, sir? No. Markets are never perfectly competitive. Market failures which hinder the efficient allocation of resources occur mainly due to following reasons. See, what we have discussed, efficient allocation of resources has to happen in an economy, but it is not happening for many reasons. For many reasons, this is not happening, sir. Market fails because of many reasons. Following are the reasons. First one, imperfect competition and presence of monopoly power in different degrees, leading to underproduction and higher prices. Correct? No. The first issue in monopoly, if there is monopoly, the first issue is dash. That is, if I am monopoly, what I'll do? I will charge highest price. Correct? Did we discuss this in chapter number 4? Monopoly is the price maker. He can set whatever the price he wants. Obviously, if I'm monopoly, I will sell high price. And I have the complete right. I have the complete power. So that what I'll do, I will reduce the price. I will reduce the price to increase the price. Sorry, I will reduce the supply. No. Reduce the supply. I will reduce the supply to increase the price. Supply reduces to increase the price. Okay, so this is what the important point now. So supply reduces, he will purposefully, he will reduce the supply to increase the price. Okay. Yeah. So this is monopoly. First disadvantage, exist under condition of competition. Markets may fail to control the abuse of monopoly power. So monopoly power which is there, market may fail to control that. Why? Because why monopoly happens? Because of many reasons. Number one, investment. First point is investment. If the investment, I have to make huge investment, no? I have to make huge investment. That investment, because of this huge investment, the private people, they cannot make the uh, because of this huge investment, private people like me and you, we cannot start this business. So that's why the one who is monopoly, if there is a monopoly, that monopoly will go on continuing the business. He has the complete right, he has the complete authority. Okay. Markets typically fail to provide collective public goods such as defense, which are by their very nature consumed in common by all people. Market typically fail to provide collective public goods such as defense. Correct? No. How to provide defense? See, there are thousands and thousands of army officials. Army. So is it, do you think it is easy to give salary to all these guys? Salary. Giving salary salary to all. Yes. Yeah. What I was explaining that in case of public goods, no one will give the public goods at their cost. So why we have to give the defense? Can I give salary to all the armies? Not possible. Consumed by common. So we are commonly consuming all these products. So in that case, it is very difficult to give some person that the that these public goods by a person. One person cannot give these goods. So that what is required, sir? The interference of the government is must. The government has to interfere here. Correct? Okay. So the incomplete markets or incomplete markets Markets may fail to produce the right quantity merit goods such as education and health care. So it is very difficult to produce right quantity of the goods such as education and health care. Why? Because there also huge amount of money is involved and one person cannot bear that or group of persons cannot bear that. So the government has to take some initiative. Okay. So the common property resources, example environment, are overused and exhausted in the individual pursuits of the self-interest. So we are using that common resources, no, we are using that to the maximum extent, and some are spoiling that. Correct. Some are spoiling that because they are not worried about the public properties. They are never worried about public properties. That's why they are spoiling that. Okay. So the externalities which arises when the production and consumption of the goods or services affect the third parties. So the goods or services, no, that will obviously affect the third parties. So the externalities. So there is something called as externalities. Sir, what is this externalities, sir? We are going to discuss about externalities soon. Let me give you one example. For example, if I am what I do, if I am putting a DJ speaker, a big speaker, sir, and you are studying in my neighborhood, you are my neighbor, you are studying, okay, you are studying, and I am playing a song. So which song? For example, I am playing Ashik Banaya song, a very loud voice, man. So what I am getting? I am getting one entertainment. But in your case, you are not getting entertainment. You are getting irritated. So you'll get that irritation, no? So that is externalities. Internality is nothing but I am getting some entertainment. But in your case, you are not getting entertainment. You will get the irritation. You will get irritated. So that is externality. That will my act, no? It is not allowing you to work. It is not allowing you to work. This is called as externalities. So we will discuss about externalities. So there can be positive externality, there can be negative externality. What is positive externality? For example, uh, what example I can give? Example, I am gardening in my house. I am doing some gardens in my house, and because of which that oxygen which is created by the garden, no, that is going to your house also. You are my neighbor, so this will help you also. This is positive externality. Next one, factor mobility, which causes unemployment and inefficiency. Factor mobility, which causes unemployment. See, factor is mobile. That means we are sending the capital from here to there, some other country. Factor is mobile. When the factor is mobile, no, so this is called as factor mobility. We are sending the goods there. What we do here, it will create some unemployment in this country. Imperfect information, because it may not be the interest of one party to provide full information to the other party. For example, if I am selling you one goods, example, this laptop. Think I am selling you the laptop. Selling you the laptop. While selling this laptop, do you think I'll give all the information about this to you? Do I disclose all the information about this to you? No, it is not required that I have to disclose all the information. It may not be in the interest of one party to provide full information to the other party. And inequalities in distribution of income and wealth, that is anyhow there in all the countries, the inequality of distribution of wealth and income. So the in absence of appropriate government intervention, market failure may occur and the resources are likely to be misallocated. See, these are the reasons here. Resources are getting misallocated. Why? Because one is common property. Everyone start using that property. No one is interested about preserving that common property. See, now I told you about the highways, correct? No, Brahmavara Hedbri highway and Udupi Hebri highway. So no one, this trees which were there here, they are doing deforestation. Why this deforestation? If that property belongs to the people. If that property belongs to the people, then they will take care of it. But this property is not belong to them. No. Direct effect, we cannot see the direct effect. Indirectly, we are looking at some effect now. Okay. Anyways, we will discuss about that. We have already discussed about that. There is no point in discussing about that again and again. I'm not interested also because I start worrying about our future. When I get to know about all these things and when I think about all these things, I definitely start worrying about our future. Anyway, so common property may no one is interested. Externalities, there are huge negative externalities and factor immobility. Factor immobility, that mobility or immobility that will create some unemployment and inefficiency. Imperfect information. Imperfect information, that is, no one is giving the perfect information here. So that will lead to inequality again. Finally, imperfect information leads to the misallocation of resources. And lastly, inequalities of distribution, inequality in distribution of income and wealth. In the absence of the appropriate government intervention, market fails. Market is failing by all these reasons, all these means. Misallocated with too much production of certain goods or too little production of certain other goods. For example, the society may produce too much of demerit goods and too little of merit goods. Society may produce too much of demerit goods and too little of merit goods. Let us see a few of many examples of the government intervention in resource allocation. Some examples. You might have noticed that in many cases, the government can provide us with goods and services that we cannot produce on our own. For example, highways. See, for example, the government establish property rights and make the necessary arrangement for enforcing the contracts through provision of law enforcement and courts. Property right. Example, you have a house. So you have complete right over that house. No. So you have the house and you have complete right over that house. Who will ensure that you have the right over that house? Government. Government will ensure that you have complete right over that house and it will enforce. You are right. When externalities are involved in the production and consumption of the goods and services, price do not reflect the true cost and benefits, and government intervene with appropriate corrective measures. The externalities, negative externalities are not reflected. True externalities, positive or negative externalities, are not reflected in the product. So now government will interfere to reflect that amount in the product. We will discuss about this in detail when we are studying about externalities. For the time being, be on hold. Externality, positive and negative externality. What is positive externality? What is negative externality? And how government will interfere to make correct that positive and negative externality? We will discuss. Wait. Now, merit goods, which are greatly beneficial to the society, are by and large provided by the government. Production and consumption of the demerit goods are controlled with the appropriate policies. So, merit goods and merit goods, which are greatly beneficial to the society, are by and large provided by the government. We know this. Merit goods. Now, example, hospitals, public educational institutions, public toilets, public libraries, roads, canals, dams, bridges, any these kind of activities are done by the government. That these are merit goods. Production and consumption of demerit goods are controlled with the appropriate policies. Demerit goods, government will control. They don't produce it, but they control it. So that's why government is required. Now, for example, ITC, the biggest manufacturer of tobacco items. ITC, Indian Tobacco Company. So it is the biggest manufacturer in India, biggest manufacturer of tobacco items. You know that they are not running under profits. They have profits, but not much of profits. Why? Why the share price of ITC? See, there are how many even an uneducated person in some places such as UP or Himachal Pradesh, like this, an uneducated person every day he will consume at least 5 packets of Vimal pan masala, bolo zuban kesari. Correct. He will produce that product. He will, sorry, not, he will consume that product. And how many Vimal pan masala ka packets are required? So many packets are there on the road. Maybe everyone uses it, but still, ITC is not the biggest company. Why? Because there is huge amount of tax. Huge tax is imposed by the government. That because it is demerit goods, it is not merit goods. It will make people addicted to the product and it will make them consume it more and more. So that government wants to control that with appropriate policies. The resource allocation role of government policies focuses on the potential for the government to improve the economic performance through the expenditure and tax policies. The allocative function in budgeting determines. So what government will do, resource allocation and any other activities the government wants to do, it will does it with the policies. So it will make it with the policies. So here, resource allocation policies of the government, it will focus on potentials for the government to improve the economic performances through its expenditure and tax policies. So they always make some tax policies. Why tax policies, sir? To get the income. Expenditure policies, they might reduce the expenditure or they might increase the expenditure. The allocative function in budgeting determines who and what will be taxed. First thing that we see, government, major revenue of the government is by tax. They will get some income with the help of tax. So that's why they first decide about the tax policies. Who and what will be taxed. Next one, how much and on what the government revenue will be spent. Now, this is their revenue, correct? This is their revenue. From where to spend this revenue, how much and on what the government revenue will be spent. Third one, the process by which the total resources of the economy are divided among the various users. How, that is for whom to produce. Correct. What to produce and how much to produce, for whom to produce. This is the question. Lastly, reallocation of society's resources from private use to the public use. Reallocation. We start allocating the resources. We reallocate the resources between the people. That is reallocation. That is also done by the government. You know how they will do it? With the help of transfer payments. You know what is transfer payment? We have discussed this in National Income chapter. Transfer payments. National Income, 6th chapter. Government will charge more tax on the rich, ultra rich people. Government will charge more tax on ultra rich people and they will collect that money and they will distribute it to the poor by giving subsidy or transfer payments. So this is reallocation society in the society, reallocation of resources. A variety of allocation instruments are available by the government, by which government can influence the resources allocation in the economy. For example, the government may directly produce an economic good, for example, electricity and public transportation. Government may directly produce an economic good. So directly it will produce some economic goods. For example, electricity. Can we produce electricity? Private people can produce electricity. There are production of electricity. But the problem is that if I start distributing, what if I charge more amount? Now, see, small people, they cannot produce electricity because it requires huge investment. Adani can do this. Ambani can do this. They produce. What if they start supplying? What if they start supplying? If they start supplying, they might charge high price. So that government says, hey, you can produce, but you have to sell it only to the government. Government will distribute it to the people. First point. Government can produce. By producing, they can control. Second one, the government may use the price mechanism. That means they might charge high price or they might charge less price. In essence, altering the market prices determined by the demand and supply through taxes and subsidies to influence the private allocation by policies that change the behavior of the consumers and producers. That will change the behavior of the consumers and producers. See, government sometimes put high tax so that they might increase the price. If they want to reduce the supply, government will increase the price. If they want to increase the supply, they might, sorry, wait. Did I tell it ulta? See, again, government want to reduce the supply, they might reduce the price. Government wants to increase the supply, they might increase the price. Supply increases with increase in price, correct? Okay. So this is one idea of the government. Third one, the government may influence allocation through legislation and force. Force, they have the force. For example, ban on single use of plastic goods. They might stop the production. They might influence the resource allocation. See why? Because plastics will spoil the market, or the plastics will harm the fertility of the soil. It will harm the fertility of the soil. It is not biodegradable. And many of the animals, they are eating it. And we have seen some cows which has taken more of plastics, and suddenly there is death of this cattle. Now, if we do the some treatment after death, no, not treatment, post-mortem. If they do that, we got to know that it has taken more than 3 kg of plastics. So that government says, no, biodegradable plastics, we are going to ban. By force, they are going to reduce the production of that kind of goods. Competition policies, merger policies, etc. The competition policy, merger policies, etc. affect the structure of the industry and commerce. For example, the Competition Act in India promotes competition and prevents the anti-competitive activities. See, it will prevent the merger, sir. That means there is no merger in India. There can be a merger, but there is some rules regarding the merger. There are some rules which are there for mergers. So we have to follow that merger related rules, and it cannot be easy mergers. So there cannot be easy mergers. Why? Because why do we do the merger? If there is merger, that will create one giant company. That giant company can spoil the market by making monopoly activities. So governments, regulatory activities such as licensing, controls, minimum wages, and directives on location of the industry influence resource allocation. So this is the idea. Government's regulatory activities such as licensing, controls, minimum wages, like this. What they do, they will protect the resources. Now, example, think that I have a factory. Okay. This is the factory. I have a factory. Government will give me one license. You can do so much of pollution. See, this is pipeline. I am sending this to river. This is the river here. So government will put one restriction. Per day, you can put only 500 liters of polluted water into the river. Not more than that. This is one license. So that the natural resources, now I can use the natural resources. At least some protection is there on the natural resources. The government sets legal and administrative framework, and governments may adopt any combination of the possible remedies. See, when you see the above remedies, no, government can go for possible combinations also. So they can make some possible combinations of the remedies. Very important one. The government may adopt any combination of possible remedies here. Okay, these are allocation function. So allocation function, and the next one, that is redistribution function. So first one, allocation function. Government always make sure that it is allocating resources to the all possible means to everyone. So this is allocation. They always make sure that everyone gets the resources and no one is deprived of some basic resources. No one is deprived of some basic resources. Next one, the redistribution function. You might have noticed that over the past decades, there has been tremendous expansion in the economic activities, resulting in numerous increase in the aggregate output and wealth. Tremendous activities has happened, resulting in enormous, not numerous, enormous increase in aggregate output and wealth. For example, now technological change, because of implementation of AI, artificial intelligence, there is tremendous increase in the output and wealth. The distribution responsibility of the government arises from the fact that left to the market, the distribution of the income and wealth among the individuals in the society is likely to be skewed, and therefore the government has to intervene. See, I'll give you the example. If I get more income, do you think I will use that income for construction of the road, canals, dams, bridges, anything? No, I don't do it. If it is left to me, do you think I will give 2,000 to the poor every month? No. I'll make sure that I will use that 2,000 for my own wellness or well-being. So that's why government has to intervene for redistribution. Already distributed, that income is distributed amongst the people. So now the government will collect that some amount, some 20% from the people, and it will redistribute. Distributed income को redistribute कर देता है वो. So the distributive function of the budget is related to the basic question of for whom should an economy produce goods and services. The governments can redistribute income and wealth either through the expenditure side or through the revenue side of the budget. On the expenditure side, the government may provide free or subsidized education, healthcare, housing, food, and the basic goods, etc. Correct. Now, what government can do, sir? It can do many activities. It can go for many activities which will definitely redistribute the income amongst the poor. So there are many poors in India. We have to give them education. We have to give them shelter. We have to give them food. We have to give them clothing. Like this. These are done by the government. This is redistribution. On the revenue side, redistribution is done through progressive taxation. You know what is progressive taxation? Guys, you know what is progressive taxation? You know that in India, up to 2,50,000, there is no tax. I'm talking about old regime, 0% tax. 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs. 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs, 5% tax. 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. More than 5 lakhs, up to 10 lakhs, it is 20% tax. More than 10 lakhs, it is 30% tax. क्या हो रहा है यहाँ? What is happening here? So if your income is more, then the tax is also high. If the income is more, then the tax is also high. If your income is less, tax is less. If your income is below 2,50,000, you don't have to pay any tax. If your income is from 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs, you have to pay 5% tax. From 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, 20% tax. More than 10 lakhs, 30% tax. Like this. This is called as progressive. If you progress, your tax payment also progress. If your payment that is less, or if your income is less, then the tax also less. You have to pay less tax here. Continued. The distribution function of the government aims at. What is the main aims of distribution function? Redistribution of income to achieve an equitable distribution of the societal output among the household, ensuring increased overall social welfare. So amongst the household, what government does? Collect from the rich people and it will give it to the poor. It will redistribute amongst the poor for overall social welfare, advancing the well-being of those members of the society who suffer from the deprivations of the different types. Advancing the well-being of those members of the society who deprived. Example, some backward class. I'm not talking about SC, ST here, not SC, ST, or not any minorities here. Actually, backward class. Actual poor people, no, they are. Now you see SC, ST, special caste and special tribe people. I don't believe that nowadays they are backward, and they are getting some reserves also. Reservations are also available, and that made reservation made SC, ST or any people, minorities, that made them rich. But people like me, we have to grow on our own. We don't have any reservations. No one is giving any reservation to. And one more thing, I don't want it. I don't want any reservation because I believe in myself. I believe in my capacity. I don't want any reservation. I'm not expecting any reservation. But wherever reservations are available, no, I just request the government, why you are reserving something? Give it to the deserving candidate. No, why you are reserving? Give it to the deserving candidate. Simply putting some reservations is not going to improve. Earlier, it was required. Ambedkar ji, he gave some reservation as to that day. On that day, it was required, but now it is not required. Now it is not required. And one more thing, sir, if you ask me, sir, you want reservation? No. Why? Because I believe in myself. I am very much sure that I can survive anywhere because I have the knowledge. My parents got no reservation, but still they proved that. My father, he proved that he is capable of giving whatever I want. Okay, even in case of your parents, they gave you everything which you want. And today I am in that position. I can earn something because of that education which is given by my parents. I don't want any reservation. Even if there is any reservation, I say no to reservation because I don't want it. Because I believe in myself. Okay, anyway. Who suffer from deprivation of different types. It can be health, it can be education, it can be finance. All these are given by the government, providing equality of income, wealth, and opportunities. Providing equality of income, wealth, and opportunities. I don't believe in this nowadays because of reservation. Government is not giving this. There is reservation. Equal opportunities are not given. Providing security in the terms of fulfillment of the basic needs for people who have hardships and ensuring that everyone enjoys a minimum standard of living. Everyone should enjoy minimum standard of living. Okay. A few examples of redistribution function performed by the governments are, few examples here. Taxation policies of the government whereby progressive taxation of rich is combined with provision of subsidy to the poor household. Correct. No, progressive taxation from rich. We are taking money from the rich and we are giving it to the poor. This is called as progressive taxation. This is also one remedy. Proceeds from progressive taxes used for financing the public service, especially those that benefit low income households. So those which specifically benefit low income household, no, that one. Employment reservations and preferences to protect the certain segments of the population, minimum wage and minimum support prices for the farmers for their output. Minimum support prices to the farmers. So now progressive taxation, no, employment reservations and preferences to the to protect certain segments of the population. I told you employment reservation. Arey, how is it possible, yaar? Why you reserve? In many cases, whether I don't know, I can say this or not. But I have seen some cases where reservation has happened, and because of which they are not working. I have seen it, but I cannot tell you where. In which office, where I have seen this, I cannot tell you. That's okay. Leave. Employment reservation and preferences to protect certain segments of the population. Minimum wages, that is required. I believe this. Minimum wages is required. I support this. Okay, pencil is not working. That's okay. I'll put it for charging for 2-3 minutes. Yes. That is minimum support prices for farmers for their output. Yes, sir. That is also required. Huh. I also agree that. I also agree that that is also required. Unemployment benefit and transfer payments to provide support to the underprivileged, dependent, physically handicapped, and older citizens of the older citizens and unemployed. See, I say, wait, I agree. You have to give some benefits to everyone. I agree. But why to unemployed? Why you are giving benefit to unemployed? Array, don't give them the unemployment benefits. Give them employment. Hope you're getting what I'm saying. Don't give them unemployment benefits. Give them employment. They don't depend on government later. So I don't believe in this unemployed. Giving money to unemployed, I definitely don't believe in this. Families below the poverty line are provided with monetary aid and aid in kind. You remember what is monetary aid? Nowadays, everyone are getting 2000 rupees. Not everyone, not everyone. But people are getting in Karnataka, we are getting 2000 rupees. And money and aid in kind. Kind also, we are getting aid in kind. That is ration. 10 kilo akki, bega bado. You want 10 kilo rice? That is monetary aid in kind. 10 kg akki. Okay. Next, unemployment benefits. This is done, no? The regulations of manufacture and sale of certain products to ensure the health and well-being of the consumers. To ensure that well-being of the consumers के लिए we are regulation of manufacture and sale of certain products. Example, food items, consumables. If we are consuming that, we have to make sure that it is consumable. You can consume that. So the government will put some restriction on consumption of these kind of goods. Consumption maybe it will put some restrictions. So special schemes for backward region, not religion, or not backward, you know, backward caste. They are not talking about backward caste, backward region. So they are giving importance for region here. So that is required, I believe. I also agree. It is required. Backward regions such as northeast states. It is backward region. There is nevertheless an argument that in exercising the redistributive functions, there would be a conflict between efficiency and equity. Conflict between efficiency. When you are doing redistribution, no, there is conflict between efficiency and equity. In other words, government's redistribution policies which interfere with producer's choice or consumer choice are likely to have efficiency cost or deadweight losses. There can be deadweight loss also. Beautiful example is given. Greater equity can be achieved through high rate of taxes. Correct. If you increase the tax, then we can take money from the rich people and we can give it to the poor. High tax ke liye, take it from the rich and give it to the poor. Agree. I also agree. But that has some serious drawback. What rich people think now? Think that there is one rich guy, and if he earns 100 rupees, he has to give 40 rupees to the 40 rupees to the government. 40%. Other 60 rupees he can enjoy. Now there is poor guy. He is earning 60 rupees. He is not giving any tax. Now don't you think rich is equal to poor? है ना? Rich is equal to poor होगा ना? So that's why that will not induce a person to work more. This is dead weight loss. See, but high rate of tax could also act as disincentive to the entrepreneurship and work. and discourage the people from making savings and investment and taking risk. So it will discourage the people from making the savings. Sir, if I save, I have to pay more tax. If I pay more tax, I will be equal to the poor. Poor is earning and he is enjoying. I earn and I save and I give some money for the bank to give more loan and I am helping for the economy. What I'll get in back, sir? Nothing. Instead, I have to pay more tax, sir. Correct. No. On that savings, I am getting some income. That also, I have to pay tax, sir. So that's why to save? I don't save. So this in turn will have negative consequence on economic output, productivity, and growth of the economy. No one is producing. Then where is GDP? Where is growth? Where is productivity? Nothing. Consequently, the potential tax revenue may be reduced in future and the scope of government's welfare activities would get seriously limited. So the welfare activities would get seriously limited here. So that's why government now always looks for redistribution, but it is not about, it will not hurt some big rich people. It will not hurt the rich people here. Okay. Because they are also required. They are earning in huge amount. They are earning in huge amount. That doesn't mean that we have to put more tax to them. You can put more tax, but don't exploit them. Okay. Unemployment. Yeah, this is about the points here. Continue. Yes, that was about first unit, chapter number 7, unit number 1. First unit, that is, I think one point is missing, no? Stabilization. Where stabilization went? One point is missing here. Stabilization is missing. I'll do that. I'll do that. In the next class, I'm going to do that about stabilization. Okay, that one point is missing. I'm not finding it. See, there are 3 points here. See, 3 points. One is resource allocation, income distribution. We discussed about both, but stabilization. This stabilization point is missing. We'll do that stabilization point. Okay. Now the unit number 2, mein, unit number 2, we have to discuss about. See, first we discussed about government. Why government intervention is required. Unit number 1 may be discussed about why government interference that is required. Now unit number 2, what is market failure? Why government intervention is required? Because of market failure. Market has failed in giving some products, giving some goods. Market failed. So that government intervention is required. Now, the question is, what is the meaning of market failure, sir? What is the meaning of market failure? That we have to know. If I get to know what is market failure, then we can know why government intervention is required. Okay. How government will intervene to correct that market failure? So that's why first thing, the unit 2 we are required to know about the market failure. What is the meaning of market failure? And government intervention to correct the market failure. How government will intervene to correct that market failure. Okay. Introduction. Introduction. The market is an environment where buyers and sellers transact or exchange goods and services. That we know, we have discussed this in markets chapter number 4. Chapter 4, we discuss what is market. It is a place, virtual or physical, where the buyers and sellers meet. For what? For making some purchase and sales. Economists presume that the people will make choices in their own self-interest. They will choose those things that provide the greatest personal benefit and keep themselves away from those that are not valuable and worth seeking. In other words, individuals will behave rationally. Correct? So they will choose those things that provide the greatest personal benefit. Being a private owner of one office, I am the owner of this office now. So what I see, I will always keep myself available for profits. I want those activities where there is profit. If there is no profit, I don't want that activity. Correct. So I always look for individuals' interest. And remember, all individuals, it is assumed that all individuals act rationally. All individuals act rationally. The general belief is that since rational individuals act to maximize self-interest, a perfectly working market system is by default efficient and will effectively allocate the scarce economic resources in the best possible manner. So this is one idea, or this is one belief. I believe that we always work on demand and supply. Correct? No. It is always on the basis of demand and supply. So I believe that market always works on the basis of demand and supply. Yes, sir. Demand and supply. It is always allocate the resources in that way. Where there is more demand, then the more resources will get allocated. That is what we believe now. Correct. Where there is more demand, there we will allocate more resources. And that means it is efficient allocation of resources. Don't you think this is the efficient allocation of resources here? Okay. Uh, that means market is capable of doing efficient allocation of resources. Market is capable of doing efficient allocation of resources. However, this is not true. Do you believe in this? Market is efficient in allocation of all resources? No, this is not true. Under certain circumstances, market failure occurs. In essence, market fails to allocate resources efficiently and therefore market outcome becomes inefficient. Market outcome is inefficient because many a time the market allocate the resources inefficiently. So, this allocation of resources inefficiently, we call it as market failure. So now, if you ask me, what is market failure? Market failure is nothing but inefficient allocation of resources. What is market failure? Market failure is nothing but inefficient allocation of resources. एक minute. But we need some explanation to that. So explanation is given here. The concept of market failure. We already know what is market failure. Inefficient allocation of resources is called as market failure. The inefficient allocation of resources in an economy is described as market failure. The term market failure does not mean the market is not working at all. Okay. So it does not mean the market is not working at all. So market is working. It only means that the market is not working in the way which is actually required. Okay. What is the meaning of market which is not working, market failure? It is not that market is not working at all. It is that market is working, but not in an efficient manner. It's not working in an efficient manner. This is called as market failure. There are two types of market failure, namely complete market failure or partial market failure. It can be complete market failure or it can be partial market failure. Now the question is, what is partial market failure and what is complete market failure? First one, complete market failure. So complete market failure means missing markets. There is no market at all. What I said? There is no market at all. That is complete market failure. That means there is no person who is selling that kind of products. There is no person who is selling that kind of product. This is called as complete market failure. So the occurs when the market does not supply the products at all, despite the fact that such products and services are wanted by the people. So people want that product, but still we are not giving that product. We are not giving that product, even though people want that product. Even though people want that product, we are not giving that product. Pure public goods such as uh, what the roads, canals, dams, these are pure public goods. There is, if everything is given to the market, if everything is left to the market, then no one will produce that product. No one is interested. No one is interested in giving that product. Now, I already told you, if I give you some goods, I give you some money. If I give you some money, will you be able to give that product here? Will I be able to give that product, that be pure product? No, I am not able to give that pure product. Why? Because I'm not interested, because I don't get any profit. Correct? I don't get any profit, that's why I cannot produce that. I don't produce that. What is partial market failure? Occurs when does not actually function, but it produces either the wrong quantity of the producer, of a producer or product at the wrong prices. So wrong quantity at wrong prices. There is market. There is no missing market. There is market, but I am producing wrong quantity at wrong quantity at wrong prices. This result in loss of economic welfare. So there are two kinds of failure: complete market failure, partial market failure. Complete market failure and partial market failure. What happens in complete market failure? Complete market, there is no market at all. Example, pure goods. If it is left to the people, businessmen, so they will not produce at all because they don't get any profit. But in case of pure partial market failure, I will produce, market will produce, but not in the required quantity or the wrong prices, not in required quantity or at wrong prices. Okay. Yes, sir. This is partial and complete market failure. Why do market fail? Question. Why do market fail? Why it is not possible to give the products at the required quantity, or why it is not possible to produce the products? Why do market fail in producing the product? The pertinent question here is, why do market fail, or why do market fail to produce the ideal outcome that economic theory predicts? Perfectly competitive markets will generate outcomes in which the economy's resources are allocated to their highest valued users, and no one person can be made better off without making at least another person worse off. You cannot make a person better off without at least one person should be worse off. That means if you are making profit, then others should get loss. They have to get some loss, only then you are making profits. So that's why market fail to make better off some person without making loss to some other person. Though perfectly competitive market work efficiently in the real world, condition necessary for efficient outcome, namely perfect competition, is not practical. We shall first try to understand why markets fail. The point is missing there. Why markets fail? So first we have to answer the question, why market fail? There are four major reasons for market failure. They are, what are the four reasons for market failure? One is market power, nothing but monopoly. First reason is market power, which is monopoly. The second one is externalities. We already discussed about externality. Remember the putting DJ. In my house, I will put DJ and you are my neighbor, you are studying, you are not able to concentrate on your studies. That is externality, negative externality. That is negative externality, correct? Okay. That is negative externality. Or what is positive externality? You remember the example of this what example of garden? Remember the example of garden? That is positive externality. You will get fresh air, fresh oxygen. That is positive externality. Okay, sir. Public goods and incomplete information. Public goods. So some of the goods are public goods, which is specifically meant for public. That is public goods. And incomplete information. See, public goods may market fail to give that public goods, merit goods, and market gives more of demerit goods. Why? Because demerit goods, example, addictive products such as drugs, that is demerit goods. That demerit goods, I am very much interested in producing demerit goods. You know why? You know already. Because if it is addictive, I can, even if I increase the price, no one is going to question me. They produce that, they purchase that product. That is demerit goods. Private are interested more in demerit goods, but not interested in merit goods. Private are interested more in demerit goods, but not in merit goods because they get more of, okay, they get more of profits. They get more profits. That's why. And lastly, incomplete information. In case of incomplete information, so there is market failure because market never gives the right information to the people. Market never gives right information to the people. So that's why it is giving some incomplete information. It will give incomplete information here. Anyways, people, we are going to discuss about all these in detail with a break. After a break, we'll take a break, a short break of somewhere 10-15 minutes. We'll take a break of 15 minutes and later we will resume this class. We'll start from market power and externalities. Okay. We'll take a break, short break of 10 to 15 minutes. Yes. Yeah, everyone, welcome back. Next one, market power. So this market power, no? This market power. We know that market power means nothing but monopoly. We are discussing about monopoly here. Market power is nothing but monopoly. Market power, market power or monopoly is the ability of a firm to profitably raise the market price of a good or services over its marginal cost. More than its marginal cost. You know what is marginal cost, no? MC. Marginal cost, that means cost of producing one additional unit. That is marginal cost. So you should be able to sell it more than the marginal cost. Then you are making profit. So your average cost, average revenue should be greater than marginal cost. Then you are making some profit. Otherwise, you are not making profit. So firms that have market power are price makers and therefore market power, nothing but monopoly. If you are monopoly, you are price maker. Therefore, can charge a price that gives them positive economic profits. Excessive market power causes the single producer or small number of producers to restrict output and charge price higher than what would prevail under perfect competition. So they always charge more price than what would be prevailing under perfect competition. So these profits are not achieved due to operating efficiency, but due to market power and dominance. Thus, the market fails to produce the right quantity of the goods and services at the right price. So they always fail to produce right quantity of the product produce at the right price. Either they charge high price or they produce very less quantity, lesser than required quantity. They charge high price or they produce lesser than the required quantity. So this is one effect of market power. Externalities. Externalities. As we are aware, anything that one individual does may have at the margin. So margin, some effect on others. For example, if individual decide to switch from consumption of ordinary vegetables to consumption of organic vegetables, they would, other things equal, increase the price of organic vegetables and potentially reduce the welfare of existing consumers of organic vegetables. Correct? No. So what happens here? See, I was using normal vegetables, not organic. Now, because of health consciousness, I shifted to organic vegetables. I am going for organic vegetables. When I do that, the price of demand for organic vegetable increased. If everyone does it, the demand for organic vegetable increases now. When the demand for organic vegetable increases, the supply being constant, the price of organic vegetable increases. That will give some externalities to the organic vegetable users, negative externalities. So externalities, see, externalities are cost or benefits which are not reflected in the free market prices. They are called externalities because they are external. They are external to the market. Externalities are also referred to as spillover effects. Externalities are also called as spillover effect. That means side effect, or it can be spillover, or it can be side effect also. It is also called as side effects. Spillover, neighborhood effect, third party effect, or side effect. As the originator of the externalities imposes cost or benefit on others who are not responsible for initiating the effect, it is cost uninternalized or cost of it is not borne by the parties. Uninternalized. The cost which is not internalized, uninternalized, or cost unrealized or cost of it is not borne by the parties who are initiating the activities. For example, uh, yeah, if I am using more of plastics, if I am using more of plastics, what I'm doing, sir? If I use more of plastics, I am that environmental causes, environmental effects. I am giving some environmental negative effects. Correct? No, some negative effects I am giving here. So that's why it is a externality. And who will bear the cost of this negative externality? Who will bear the cost of this negative externality? That cost will be borne by a person who is not a party to this contract. For example, uh, if I am using more of plastics and I go on littering outside, I go on spoiling the environment. Finally, it will be eaten by a cattle. The plastic is consumed by the cattle. Cattle eats that plastics, and finally that cow or cattle died. Now, who is worried? The farmer, the one who was looking after, who was looking after that cattle. No, he has to worry. His output, his yield will get reduced. His output will get reduced. Correct? Yes or no? So this is one effect here. Negative effect. Negative externality. Okay. Continue. The externalities can be positive or negative. I just told you positive externality, negative externality. Two kinds. Negative externalities occur when the action of one party imposes cost on another party. Positive externality occurs when the action of one party confers benefit on another party. So it will cause a action of one party causes cost to another party, that is negative. Positive externality occurs when the action of one party confers benefit on another party. So this is positive. So first we will discuss about production externality. Listen, I'll give you one example. Listen to this example carefully, everyone. There is one factory. There is a factory here. Think that a steel factory. Think that it is a steel factory, and these are chimneys. And there is one outlet. What it is doing, sir? It is releasing some waste water into this river. Sir, what is there in this river, sir? In this river, we have fish. We have fish here. In this, we have fish here. And there is one guy, fisherman. What this fisherman is doing? He is fishing. Fisherman. And there is one guy who is taking water from this river. This is the vessel. In this vessel, he is taking the water from this river. For what purpose? For drinking purpose. For drinking purpose. And what is happening here? There is one guy, there is a guy, industrialist, who asked for 1000 kg of steel. 1 kg of 1000 kgs of steel. Okay. Now, because of this order, he ordered, because of this order, steel factory will produce steel and give steel to this person. And after producing this steel, they release some water, polluted water into the river, polluted air, polluted air into the air, pollutions to the air. Now, because of this polluted water here, the number of fish that will get diminished. Correct? Number of fish will get diminished. See, now, if the number of fish reduces because of this contaminated water, if the number of fish reduces here, अब क्या होगा sir? If number of fish reduces because of contaminated water, his yield I'm so sorry. This pencil is acting little weird. Okay. His yield. Yield reduces, no. Because of contaminated water, his yield reduces. His yield, Y-I-E-L-D. His yield reduces. Okay, sir. His yield reduced. So his income also reduces now. His income also reduced. Now this guy, what is happening here? This guy is drinking water. What happens? His health. What about his health? If someone asks, what about his health now? Correct. Yes. What about his health? So that health, no, the condition of the health that is worst. His health condition will get worst. His health condition will get worse. And finally, he has to pay some amount for hospital. Cost of hospital, sir. He has to pay some amount for hospital. Now, steel factory is not taking responsibility of his income. Negative externality, no. Steel factory is not taking the care of the health of the person who is drinking this water. Correct. Because they cannot internalize. They cannot internalize this is a cost. He is a negative externality. He cannot internalize that. He cannot internalize this also. If his income reduces, the tax which is paid by this person that reduces. Government has to suffer. If health reduces, then he will not contribute anything to GDP. His production reduces. So he will not contribute anything. Who is the culprit here? This guy, not factory, because he did demand such kind of product which is polluting the water and it is causing dangers. So these are externalities here. These are some kind of externalities. Now, if you read here, a negative production externality initiated in the production which imposes an external cost on others may be received by another in consumption or in production. See here, this person is producing, correct? Production. His income reduced. This guy is consuming this water. So negative, listen to me very carefully. Negative production externality, which is taken by producer, which is experienced by producer, or which is experienced by consumer. Experienced by producer or experienced by consumer. This is very important point here. Negative production externality by consumer, taken by consumer or taken by producer, may be received by consumer or producer. For example, a negative production externality is received in the consumption when a factory which produces aluminium discharges untreated wastewater into the nearby river and pollutes the water, causing health hazards for the people who use the water for drinking and bathing. Correct? No. If they are releasing some water, if they are releasing some water into the river, that will cause some health hazard. That will cause some health hazard to the people, and negative production externality is received in production when pollution of river affects the fish output, as there will be less catch for fishermen due to the loss of fish resources. That is production external received by producers. The firm, however, has no incentive to account for the external cost that it imposes on the consumers for river water or on fishermen when making its production decision. Additionally, these external costs are never reflected in the prices of the product. Correct? These costs are never reflected in the prices of the product. So that's what I said. The main reason for all this chaos is this guy. But he is paying only for production cost. But he is causing these kind of effects to the outsiders. Who will bear this cost? No one. They themselves. They are actually not the culprit. They have to suffer this loss. This guy has to suffer loss in his health. This guy has to suffer loss in his business. Correct? Yes, sir. A positive production externality initiated in the production that confers external benefit on others may be received in production or in consumption. So affirm a positive production externality. There is a positive production externality now. Correct. So there is positive production externality. Now, what are positive production externality? I produce something because of which the other person is getting some advantage. That is positive production externality. The advantage. Example, wait here. A firm which offers training to the employees. Example, you are my employee. I am giving training to you. You left my business and you joined some other business. So that other business is getting advantage now. Because you are already trained, they don't have to put money on you again. So increasing their skills generates positive benefits on other firms when they hire such workers as they change their jobs. A positive production externality is received in consumption when an individual raises an attractive garden and the person walking by enjoy the garden. Correct? No, garden ka. When you see a garden, definitely you feel happy about that. So you enjoy that view. These are external effects, no, were not taken into account when the production decision were made. So we are not taking this. This is production externality. Now, what is consumption externality? Negative consumption externality initiated in consumption when produce external cost on others may be received in consumption or in production. There is external cost of consumption. For example, cigarette. If I use cigarette, okay, this is cigarette. If I consume this cigarette, it won't look like cigarette, but it is cigarette, huh? If I consume cigarette, that will affect whom? Passive smoking. There are some other persons who are there here. I am smoking here. Example, if I smoke inside the physical class, that will affect my students. It will affect my students, correct? So, I am the consumer. I am getting some satisfaction. But you guys, you don't get satisfaction. Instead, because of my consumption, you are getting some externality, that is negative externality. For example, smoking cigarettes in public places, causing passive smoking by others, creating litter and diminishing the aesthetics values of the room, and playing a radio loudly, obstructing one from enjoying a concert are examples of negative consumption externality. So these are some of the examples of negative consumption externality affecting the consumption. The act of undisciplined students talking and creating disturbance in a class, preventing teacher from making effective instructions. So effective instructions I cannot do because a student who is in the class, no, he is creating some nonsense. So then this is negative externality. A positive consumption externality initiated in consumption that confers external benefit. For example, COVID-19 का vaccine. See, if I consume that vaccine, what it does, it will immunize me and I don't spread that. I will not spread that disease. So benefit on others may be received in consumption or in production. If people get immunized against the contagious disease, example COVID-19, they would confer a social benefit to others as well by preventing others from getting infected. So it will prevent others from getting infected. Correct? It will prevent others from getting infected. Consumption of the services of a health club by the employees of the firm would result in an external benefit to the firm in the form of increased efficiency and productivity. Example, I have a business. Okay. Example, I have a business. In my business, what I do in my business is about mining business thing. My business is mining business. If my business is mining business, you all are my workers. If you all are my workers, if you all are my workers, I have to give you some club services. I'll give you some health club services so that your health is improved. Being an employee, my employee, your health will get improved so that your health improves, your satisfaction, mental satisfaction improves. If your mental satisfaction improves, efficiency and productivity, your efficiency and productivity improves, finally, I'll get more advantage. So you consume that, I will get the advantage. You go to yoga classes, I will get the advantage. You go to karate classes, I may get the advantage. Note, private cost is money cost of production incurred by the firms. In essence, costs such as wages, raw materials, heating, lighting, which must be paid to carry out the production. And these which would appear in the firm's accounts. Correct? No, in my balance sheet or in my accounts. It will appear in my balance sheet or in my accounts. The supply curve here corresponds to only the private marginal cost. The supply curves here corresponds to only private marginal cost. That means if you produce more and more, guys, if you produce more and more, that will increase the price. Correct? No, my total cost will get increased. This is private cost. Sir, what is social cost? Cost to everyone is social cost. My cost plus your cost. Your cost in the sense public, general public. We discussed about steel ka example. Steel ka example mean my cost. If I am the producer, my cost, and I am creating some external cost outside. That is to fishermen. It might be to fishermen or it might be to drinking purpose के लिए. Everywhere I am creating some issue or problem. No, who is going to bear that problem? Public. Public ka cost plus my cost. Everything put together. That is social cost. What is social cost, sir? Private cost plus external cost. Social cost refers to the cost to the society on account of a production or consumption activity. Social costs are private costs borne by individuals directly involved in a transaction together with external cost borne by third parties not directly involved in the transactions. So person who is directly involved in the transaction plus to those who are not directly involved in the transactions put together, this is social cost. In other words, it is private cost plus cost to the third parties. Everything put together, it is social cost. Again, sir, what is social cost? Very simple, guys. What is social cost? Social cost is private cost plus external cost. Put together, it is social cost. If I am producing some product, my cost, and outside it is causing some issues because of which the public they had to suffer losses. Put together, it is social cost. The external costs are not included in firm's income statement. Correct? No. The health cost of the person who is drinking that water. So his cost is not included in my cost. No, it is not included in the consumer's decision. However, these external costs are real and important as far as the society is concerned. It is very important as far as the society is concerned. As a result, each firm's cost, which is considered for determining the output, would be only private cost or direct cost of production, which does not incorporate externalities. So usually we will not put externalities here. See, in this example, this health cost he is paying to the hospital, that we are not including in this 1000 kg ka steel. No. The income which is reduced, that we are not including here. But if we don't include, what is the major cause? What is the cause for this hospital or this decrease in income? The major cause is his demand. Correct? Agree? This guy is demanding, no? That is the major cost here. Yes. That is the major cost. If that cost was not there, if that cost, that demand is not there, if that demand was not there, then these costs would have not arisen. If that demand was not there, then these costs wouldn't have arisen. So that's why we have to include that cost. But how to include that cost, sir? Not possible. Not possible by the private they don't include that cost. Why I have to take the responsibility? We usually say that why we have to take the responsibility. No one is taking the responsibility outside. I don't take responsibility, so that government will interfere. In this case, government will interfere. So the market prices determined without incorporation of externality is not ideal, as they do not reflect all social costs. They will put only the private cost. They'll consider only private cost. Such prices send incorrect signals to the producers and consumers and cause either overproduction or underproduction. Thus, we conclude that when there is externality, a competitive market will produce a level of output which is not socially optimal. So socially optimal, what is socially optimal? No, that we will not produce. Correct? No, that we will not produce. We will produce more. We will definitely produce more, but we will not produce what is actually required. So why we do so, sir? Very simple. Concept is very simple. We do so because, we do so because we are getting more profit. We get more profit. That's why we do this activity. So we are not interested. We are not interested in social welfare. We are interested in our self-interest. So that's why we are not taking any cost which are there in, so which are there for the public. So we are not considering that. Okay. Yes, sir. So wait. Yes. So that was about externality. Okay, sir, what we discussed in externality, there are two kinds of externality. One is positive externality and negative externality. In positive externality, there is production positive externality, production negative externality, consumption positive externality, consumption negative externality. So these are types of externality that we had to discuss. Okay. Yes, sir. Now, the public goods. Next reason for market failure. Next reason for market failure is public goods. Wait. Okay. Next reason for market failure is public goods here. Oh my goodness. What is public goods? Paul A. Samuelson, who introduced the concept of collective consumption goods. So he introduced that. What is collective consumption goods? What is collective consumption, guys? Collective consumption is nothing but Collective consumption. We all consume that together. That is collective consumption. What is collective consumption, everyone? We all consume that together. There are many goods which we all consume together. So what are the products we consume together? For example, street light. So we consume street lights together and we consume roads together. We consume many other points together here, such as the public libraries, public washrooms. Correct? No, we all consume that together. Together in the sense, uh, the libraries. We will use libraries and we don't pay for it. Do we pay for it? Do we pay for it? No, usually we will not pay for it. Okay. So usually we will not pay for it. One minute. So there is some issue in the laptop here. Yes, we will not pay for that product. So obviously, if we don't pay for it, then we start spoiling that product. Correct? So if we don't pay for that product, then definitely we start spoiling that product. And why? Because see, we are not interested in it's not interested in development also. Then why we are interested in its payment? We are not interested in the payment. So the collective consumption goods in his path-breaking 1954 paper, the pure theory of public expenditure is usually recognized as first economist to develop the theory of public goods. A public good is defined as one which all enjoy in common in the sense that each individual's consumption of such good leads to no subtractions from any other individual's consumption of that goods. So if I consume that goods, you also can consume that goods. So there is no reduction in the consumption of the goods. Remember, there is no reduction in the consumption of the goods. So if I can use that goods, definitely you can also use that good. Example, now the river, it is public goods now. Everyone can use it. So it is not just I use it, everyone can use it, and upon my usage, it will not get reduced. Okay. So most of the goods produced and consumed in an economy are private goods. Correct? No. Example, I am using this pencil, I am using the laptop. All these are what? All these are private goods. If you want to use that private goods, then definitely you have to pay for it. If you wish to use that goods, then you have to pay for that goods. So that's why the goods which we, private goods which we use, no, so that is excludable. What is excludable? If you want to use that goods, you have to pay for that goods. That is excludable. Since they are scarce, anyone who wants to consume them must purchase them at a price. Private goods do not face free rider problem. Why? What is free rider problem? If I give access to you, you start using that product and free rider. What do? You freely start using that goods and you start spoiling that goods. So think that there is a public pool, swimming pool, or a lake. If there is a lake and government is maintaining that and it is free, what we do? We go on example, not we. There are some nibis couples. What they do? They go there and putting their legs into the water and they keep playing. Sometimes what people do, students do, they eat lace and that lace ka package, no wrapper, they put it on into the water and they see that what is the time, what is the how many seconds it will take to sink. We do that. We go on putting stones into the water, or we might start doing some activities which is actually spoiling that water. Correct. We go on doing these activities, but actually we are not supposed to do that. Correct. We are not supposed to do that. The private goods are excludable. In essence, it is possible to exclude or prevent consumers who have not paid for them from consuming them or having access to them. Consumption of private goods is rivalrous. What is rivalrous? If I use, you cannot use that. Rivalrous. That is, the purchase and consumption of a private good by one individual prevents another individual from consuming it. Normally, the market will efficiently allocate the resources for production of private goods. So this is rivalrous. Okay, this is rivalrous here. Next one, examples are food item, clothing, mobile, movie ticket, television. It is rivalrous and it is private goods. But what is public goods are products whose consumption is essentially collective in nature. Everyone can use it together. Public goods in non-rival is non-rival consumption. For example, if you eat your apple, a private goods, another person too cannot eat it. But if you walk in a street light, another person too can walk without any reduced benefit from the street light. Correct? No, this is public goods. Public goods are non-excludable. That means I cannot make a person don't use it. So not using that. I cannot exclude a person from not using it because he also has the same right. So do one thing. Read this point. Read this point. I'm just getting one call. I'll attend that and I'll be back. Okay. Read these 2 points. I'll be back in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yes. So here, public goods, we discussed that it is non-excludable. Public goods are characterized by indivisibility. Okay, non-excludable. Consumers cannot be excluded from consumption of consumption benefits if the good is provided. One individual cannot deny another individual consumption. For example, if there is street light, I am consuming street light. Can I exclude you from consuming the street light? Not possible. For example, national defense once provided, it is impossible to exclude anyone within the country from consuming and benefiting from it. So once I provide it to a person, that is given to that person, not just to one person, everyone. We will get that. Everyone will get the benefit here. From it, we cannot exclude a person. Public goods are characterized by indivisibility. That means I have to give that goods to everyone. If road is put, you cannot say that when the road is constructed, government cannot say that this road is only for SC/ST. This road is only for minority. Then where I have to go? On the era. That's why it is indivisibility. Each individual may consume all of the goods. In a sense, the total amount consumed is the same for each individual. Once a public goods is provided, the additional resources cost of another person consuming the goods is zero. If there is here what if there is street light, I consumed it, and the benefit others also will get the same benefit, no? So it is additional cost will be zero. So what is the failure in case of public goods, sir? Public goods are generally more vulnerable to issues such as externalities. Public goods, we keep see, in case of students, no, in the classroom itself, they don't know how to behave in the classroom, how to maintain the decorum of the classroom, how to maintain the assets of the classroom. You just imagine or remember that your desk, which was there in Trisha classes, Trisha college, what used to write in the desk? Whenever you are bored, no, you take a pencil, you go on writing on the desk. This is called as public goods externalities. Writing on the desk. I don't know what kind of satisfaction the students get by writing on the desk. If it was the property of your house, then we will do that. Do we do that? No, we don't do it. Writing on the walls of the college, RCB versus CSK. Do we do it in our house? In our house, hall of your house. Will you write RCB versus CSK? No. And I have seen some lines on the walls or on the desk that, oh, Priye, Neenillada Nanu, Switchillada Fanu. What kind of hell is this? Don't write these things on the paper. Please make sure or please remember that this desk, bench, which is there in the college, no, that is your desk and your bench. So you have to maintain it as if you are the owner. Okay. Inadequate property rights and free rider problems. The absence of excludability in the case of public goods and the tendency of the people to act in their own self-interest will lead to the problem of free riding. So that will lead to the free riders problem. So that is what I said. This is free rider problem. If it is not mine, then I don't know how to use it. I use it in a very reckless manner or reckless way. That is a failure. If individual makes no offer, if individuals make no offer to pay for public goods, there is market failure in the case of these goods, and the profit maximizing firms will not produce them. Correct. The market which is behind the profit, or firm which is behind the profit, they don't produce them because there is no profit. Producers are not motivated to produce a socially optimal amount of the products if they cannot charge a positive price for them or make profits from them. What do you get from public toilet? Nothing. 1 rupee, 2 rupee. Can we make a profit out of that 1 rupee, 2 rupee? No, not possible. As such, though public goods are extremely valuable for well-being of the society, correct? No, without public toilet, we cannot imagine a city without public toilet. Thus, okay, left to the market, they will not produce at all or will be grossly underproduced. Thus, there is market failure in the case of public goods. This is about the public goods. And the next one is incomplete information. Okay. Anyways, so this topic, no, we cannot finish in this 10-12 minutes. So I'll stop it here. So we are discussing about in this class, in this session, we finished one unit and half a unit. Half a unit is done, other half is pending. That we will do it in next session. I'm not sure when we will get the next session. Tomorrow it is not my session, no. I believe that I mean, I remember that tomorrow is not my session. And 16th March. I don't have the YouTube link. Wait. I'm just waiting for your reply. Yes, sir. What is the meaning of yes, sir? Okay, tomorrow maths. Okay, tomorrow maths and accounts. Nice. So that means I don't have class tomorrow. And there were like Swati was asking, sir, old syllabus topics videos, please upload. Is that you have to ask to Trisha classes, not with me. I am not uploading it anywhere. This is from Trisha classes. You have to ask Sir, Ram sir. Okay. Trisha classes. Basically, Trisha classes. Ask Trisha classes to upload. Okay, everyone. And next session, our next sessions will be from I don't know when it is, somewhere in the month of April. Our next sessions will start in April again. Until then, all these units, please keep revising. And there are some 2-3 chapters which are pending. Hardly somewhere 20 hours, 10 to 20 hours, which is pending now. So once I finish that, the syllabus is done. New syllabus is also done. Thank you so much for your patient listening, guys. We'll meet again in next class. Until then, keep studying, keep growing. Loving you all. Miss you all. Love you all. Bye. Hi, sir. I forgot asking the question. Do you have any questions? I forgot to ask this. Do you have any questions? कहाँ है यार comments कहाँ है यार you have to find the comments please comments is blocked I don't know. Okay, anyways, if you have some doubts, you can talk to me on WhatsApp. You already have the number. And please, if you don't have the number, please ask with the Trisha classes. They will provide you my number. And your old friends, they have my number. Don't put it on the comment box because it will get circulated to everyone. I don't want it to get circulated to everyone. That means those who are not my students, they also get this number. That's why don't put it in comment box. If you want my number, please do contact Trisha classes. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.